Hey folks, welcome to this Tech Bootcamp video on Google Docs. Now, for my classes, I require that my students turn all their written work in using Google Docs instead of Microsoft Word. Why? Well, the main reason is that in Google Docs, I have much more control over the feedback that I give you than I do in a Microsoft Word document. And when you think about why it is you do homework to begin with, it's to get good feedback to improve your skills. And so I want to go with a tool that gives me the most versatility in how I give you feedback. Okay, we're going to use Google Docs for that. So in this video, I want to go over a couple basic steps. One is to set up a Google Doc. Two is to work on some naming conventions, so that way you can find your files in your own Google Drive and I can find them when you submit them to me. And then three, most importantly, how to set the document up for sharing so I can actually read and give you that feedback that I want to give you so you can improve. So let's jump right into it. Now what you see on the screen is my Google Drive. All you need to have a Google Drive account is a Gmail. Many of you probably already have a personal Gmail, but all of you have a Gmail account through school. Your My Wildcats email is a Gmail account. So if you have never accessed your My Wildcats Gmail, you can simply go to do a Google search for Google Drive, and then when it prompts you for your email address and your password, just use your school email and your school password, and you're good to go. You will then be given a screen that looks like this. You'll know you're in Google Drive because guess what? It'll say Drive. What you'll see are your recent documents if you've used your Drive account, and then you'll see down here a list of all the files that's in your Drive. You'll have folders first, then individual files below that. And of course you can search through recent and that sort of thing. So what we want to do is work through setting up a Google Doc. But everything I'm going to show you for Google Doc works for Google Slides, it's like PowerPoint, Google Sheets, think Excel, all of their document types. What I'm going to show you for Google Docs, it works the same across the board. So let's go ahead and jump into this. What I often tell people when it comes to using technology is if you can say it, you can do it. So what do I want to do? I want to create a new file, a new document. All right, look for the New button right there on the left. You click New, and you'll notice it gives you the option to make a folder, to make individual docs, sheets, slides. These are the most popular tools in the Google Suite. If you click More, you'll see you have a lot of other options that pop up down here. We'll use some of these in class. Some of you may choose to use some of these tools, but for the most part, the top three are what you're going to need to work with. I would certainly encourage you to make folders for your individual classes, and then even inside those class folders, make subfolders for the novels or the writing types that you're doing. Keep yourself organized. The last thing you want is a list of 100 plus individual files that has no organization. So think about that as you set up your Drive. Okay, so let's jump into it. I'm going to make a document. Now, that's pretty simple. It looks a lot like a Word document if you've used Microsoft Word. The first thing you should always do before you ever put, click a button in the document is name the file. Far too often students choose not to title their documents, and when I ask them to go back to their Drive to find that paper or that assignment, they don't know where it is because it doesn't have a name on it. And then when I have their file, I can't always identify what student wrote it because they didn't type their name here in the document and they didn't have their name here in the title. So we want to avoid that confusion up front. So I'm going to ask that you use a certain naming convention, a certain way to name your files each and every time. And it's going to start with your last name, so I'm Nienaber, dot first initial, Jeff, right? You're not done. I want you to then put a word or two for what that assignment is. So maybe it's Crucible essay. Spell essay, right? Maybe it's annotated bibliography. Maybe it's, vocab unit 1 essay, something like that. Make it short, but make it descriptive. I would typically tell you what to call it in class, but always last name dot first initial. I've got siblings or people with the same last name in the same class. I want to tell you apart in the document, and then a very brief description of what that file is. So what does this do? When you email it to me, I'll know it's your particular paper because your name is on it, even if you forget to put your name in the file. And two, you will be able to find it very quickly because you'll see it's under Crucible Essay. Now again, what I would suggest in your drive is you're going to have a folder set up for English, 11 CP, AP Lit, whatever the class is, and then create a folder for each novel unit we're doing. So that way it's easy for you to organize your own work. All right, so we've titled our file, we're good to go. You also want to immediately put a header on that first page of your document. And your header should always consist of this information: student name, teacher name, class name, due date. And that header should be double spaced. Excuse me. So highlight that text. The spacing button is the button that has two arrows pointing up and down, and then make it double spaced. Again, this is an expectation, especially if you're going to go to college. All your documents should start on the first page with that information, so your teacher or professor knows exactly who it is and what the class that this paper is connected to. All right, so we've created the document, we have named the document, and we've set up the first page. All very important for you to do immediately. Just get in the habit, make this automatic. Open the document, name it, put your header together. All right, so you've written your paper, you've got everything done, you're ready to turn it in. So how do you do that? You've got to share that file. Again, you say it, you can do it. I need to share this with my teacher, or maybe you need to share it with peers, right? So you can do peer editing. Whatever the next step is, you need to get someone else to have access to this particular paper. So we click the share button. Now, do not be tempted to simply type my name or my email here. I know that's the easiest way to share a file. Sorry about that. However, for whatever reason, when a student puts a teacher's email into this space here, our email blocks it. I don't know why, but it does. It'll have us request permission to access, and we never get access to it. So we're not going to use this add people in groups function. So what I need you to do is to use the other way to share it, to get a link. Now Google has really streamlined this process. In the past you had to click an advanced button and then go through a bunch of different windows. Now it's very simple. You simply want to change the way it's currently set up. Because if you noticed, that file, let me actually click out of this. This file starts with a padlock closed. You can highlight that share button. It says private to only me. And we see that down here as well. This link here is restricted. So only I can access it, or people whose names I put up here. But remember, putting people's names in won't work 100% of the time. So we don't want to use that option. We only want to use one we know will work 100% of the time. So we need to change this, this setting. So click Change to anyone with the link. So now this is no longer restricted to just individual names. This is going to be restricted to anyone who has the link. And you're going to share that link with me or with your classmates. So we're almost ready. Here's the link, but we don't want to copy this yet. And there's a reason. If you look at this, it says anyone with a link can view. Okay, that's good. I can at least see the paper. But remember, I want to use Google Docs not because I can read your paper, but because I can comment and give you feedback in that paper. So we need to change these permissions. So you notice next to Viewer, it has this drop-down menu. Open that up. You can give whoever has the link the access to view That's default. That's always what it'll start with. You can allow them to be a commenter, which lets them put comment bubbles in the margin on the side of the screen. That's good. But what's better is giving them editor rights. Because I want to do more than just be able to put a comment bubble into your paper. I want to get into your paper and model for you how you could fix it. So I will change some of the writing around to show you a better way to create flow in your writing. Or maybe I see some grammar mistakes that I want to point out to you. I can actually adjust those in the paper, and then you'll get a comment bubble that pops up. Look at the change that was made. That's what's going to give me a lot of control over how I give you feedback in your paper. So, again, we're going to change this to anyone with the link. We're going to change this to editor, and then we're going to click done. So now you'll notice this share is no longer a locked padlock. Now it says it's public on the web to anyone on the internet with the link. Now this doesn't mean anyone on the web can access it. They still have to have the link. So what you would need to do then is simply copy that link, and again it says here, get link. Anyone on the internet with this link can edit. Copy the link. That link is copied, and then you will simply paste that link in Teams assignment pages where I might have you submit your essay. You will post that link there. Sometimes you'll be posting that in a OneNote, so you just paste that link. I'll go ahead and just paste it here on this page. This will be the link that will take me directly to your paper. And if you look at it, it says here, and it's kind of a little wonky here, after this backslash, edit, and then sharing. So you know this is the right kind of link because you're going to see that word edit in there. All right? Once you have shared that with me in whatever format I'm requiring it, either through an email, through OneNote, through Teams, whatever the process we're going to follow, I will now have access to your paper. I will be able to tell it's yours because your name is going to be here with last name dot first initial. I'll know what the assignment is, and that will be, again, repeated here. And then I'll have access to your document that I can now come in and give you feedback or make changes to help you improve the quality of your work. All right, so when we're using your Google Docs, make sure you click that share button. Make sure you change the link to anyone with the link. Change the permissions to can edit. So anyone with the link can edit. Click done, copy that link, and share it, and we're good to go. As always, if you have any questions, make sure to use the Teams chat feature. Post a question directly to me through Teams chat, or you can always email me at jeff.nienaber@southwestschools.org. I hope this video helped. Take care.